Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is about that time. Keep your hands up and keep your head on a swivel. The Haymakers and Submissions podcast is here. We woke up and chose violence today. Stick and stay for combat sports talk at its finest, coming your way now.
Welcome, everybody, to Haymakers and Submissions podcast. My name is Drew Chops, and we're talking all things combat sports. Chops, how are you doing today?
Man, it's good, man. Just trying to beat this brutal heat, man. It is ridiculous. And I mean, they were like, you live in Atlanta. What'd you expect? I know, but man, alive. And been having a little bit, had to call the HVAC guy over. It's the old AC's been acting up. Upstairs, we have two. We got one upstairs, one downstairs.
Okay.
The upstairs been kicking on shiver me timbers, but downstairs it has not been functioning right. So we'll sit here and I'm from, me from Pittsburgh. I used to love it cold. Now I can take it a little hotter. As my wife says, I like to have it like in a terrarium, here, but I do like it a little hotter. But we'll be sitting out like, man, maybe it's a little warm to you. She'll be like, oh, I'm so hot. I'm dying. I looked at one time down here and it was 84 degrees. And I thought it was I just thought that was a little warm. And my wife, I was like, it's 84. She was like, it's ridiculous. I didn't think it was as hot as she thought it was. You know what I mean? But it was, we get out and basically one of the switches had zoned out. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So actually two of the switches, to be honest with you. See, let me fix mine. Yeah, so we got that taken care of. So we're good now. Now we're here back.
Couple $100 fix versus a couple $1,000 fix.
Man, and I'm telling you, and me, I'll put on a hoodie, man. I'm freezing. You leave it tomorrow. True story. Even in the winter, I will turn the heat up. I'll turn the heat up to about, in the house, to about 74, 75. But in our room, I'll put we got one of those nice big space heater, whatever have you. I'll turn that joker up to 90. Shut the doors, put a towel under the door, whatever. And it is, man, it's almost like I'm sleeping in a sauna. My wife hates it, but it's kind of crazy because I always used to love in the cold. But in 2016, kidney shut down. I was a renal failure, whatever. But since then, everything has changed. Everything has changed. And I like it a little. Yeah, man. I like it a little hotter now.
Wow.
Everything has changed. For a while there, it's kind of crazy. Real quick before we get into it. I used to tell people that I would get physically ill, and I truly meant it. I would get physically ill if I didn't have meat in a meal, or if meat was not the last bite of my meal. Like, I could have pancakes and scrambled eggs, but I had to have a piece of sausage or bacon as my last bite. I had to, right? Like, I couldn't just have pancakes for breakfast. I couldn't do it, right? And my wife would tell me, you're crazy, whatever have you. So I go into renal failure. I'm in the hospital for a week or two, a lot longer than that, but I'm in the hospital. And it got to the point, which I didn't realize, your taste buds will change. Like, you eat what you like, what you don't like. I stopped liking meat to the point where they was like, what do you want for lunch? And I would get a turkey sandwich every day. Before you knew it, I was taking the turkey off. I wasn't eating any meat.
Oh.
So I started talking and the doctor was telling me this could change, you could stay forever, have you. But I truly thought this was going to be forever. So I'm talking to the nurses and some of the doctors, and some of the other doctors there and nurses are actual vegetarians. Some were vegetarian, some were vegan. So they're bringing me in recipes, whatever have you. My wife's going to work. As soon as she gets off, she's coming there, staying from as soon as she gets there until whatever have you. So the nurse comes in, by this time has a stack of all different kind of menus with different recipes. Mm-hmm. Gets my wife and says, Michael thinks he could be a vegetarian and he's going to want this even after he gets discharged, whatever have you. My wife's savage, looks right at the nurse and says, I'm telling you now, he's never going to be a vegetarian. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw these away right now. And literally from my wife's hand, right into the garbage can, right into the garbage. I was like, I'm telling you, want to be a vegetarian. Come home. That lasted, I don't know what it was, but as I got better, that lasted for about 2-3 meals. That was it. That was it, brother. I am a meatitarian all day, Jack.
I can feel
the heat and cold temperature, but the heat and cold temperature, I still like it hot. I never went back to the cold like that.
So I gotta get rid of them or limit those carbs. I'll eat meat and I don't really count the fat calories too much, but the carbs, I'm counting them.
Now, see, here's my issue. Believe it or not, I grew up in an all-Italian neighborhood, right? I go literally all Italian neighborhoods. So my best, besides DiBiasio, Intrieri, Morlacchi, I mean, those were Carpentier. Those are my neighbors. So carbs are what we did with all the pasta, you know what I mean? And all the different pastas and all whatever. So that's been hard for me. That's hard for me, man. So
Yeah.
I get it. I get that fighting the carbs. I get it.
But if you want to be in combat sports, you got to count those calories and things.
Ooh,
That's what I'm talking about. So we're going to preview last weekend. This is we're recording here on July 17th. We're going to take a look back at last weekend, July 12th, some festivities. We're going to start out with the UFC on Fight Night.
Yeah, man.
We previewed this Lewis Teixeira fight, man. Didn't take long for Derrick Lewis to prove you right, did it?
No, well, here's the thing, though. You know what, though? And it was kind of weird because Tallison Teixeira, remember we had spoke about it. He was running through everybody.
Yep.
You don't know who he's fought. He hadn't fought in the big lights, whatever have you, know. And when I say the big lights, maybe the Bridgestone Arena, it's not Mandalay Bay. It's not T-Mobile Center, you know what I mean, in Vegas or whatever have you. But it's UFC. It's televised. It's paper. You know what I mean? So having said that, it's on ESPN. So that those lights are pretty big. He starts out and he hits Derrick Lewis with a jab. And Lewis then is pawing at his eye. You didn't realize it until after the replay in slow-mo that his thumb goes across the eye. And that's what it was, like a thumb to the eye. But these guys are big dudes. They're throwing heavy leather. You don't have that minute or so. Like in boxing, you get a standing 8 count. You get hit. You get that. You don't get that in MMA. You know what I mean? So that happens. They're like, oh man, here we go again. Because that's happened. We've seen other guys get hit in the eye, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But he was able to refocus. As in Lewis, he hits him, drops him. And I'll be honest with you, he was pounding him. He was on him. I thought it was a premature stoppage. I really did. Now I understand he as in Tallison used the cage, stuck his hand in the fence to get up, but he got up and he's defending himself and turns around. He educatedly turned himself around. He's taking some big blows.
Yeah.
And I just thought he was cheated out of an opportunity. I thought it could have went a little longer. Now I'm glad and I like the aspect that he, as in Derrick Lewis, got the win. You know what I mean? I don't know if you happened to see, because a lot of people turned it off right after the fight. I always listen to the commentary. When I say the commentary, the interview, the fight, who the winner, the loser, depending on who it is, they'll do winner and loser. They always talk to the winner 99.999 because every once in a while they don't. If it's on ABC or whatever have you, but normally they always talk to the winner. Sometimes they also talk to the loser if it's a big fight. So they talk to, of course, Lewis because he needed it. He's back. He's taking a year off, holds the most knockouts, and he's a fan favorite. He really is a fan favorite. So, of course, they're talking to him, and they're like, all right, so what's up next for you? What do you want? Who do you want next? This clown. And we call him a clown because he is just a funny dude, right? He's just a funny dude. He says, I want my wife. I've been going for 2 weeks training. Okay, 2 weeks. Well, first off, the camp should be longer now, but he said he was going 2 weeks. I don't know if the camp was only 2 weeks. He just came to Tennessee.
Probably what it is, yeah.
He said, I've been gone for 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of ground and pound. She know what it is. Look at her find it. And he's just a funny dude, man. He's just a funny dude. As a matter of fact, the dude that interviewed him was Daniel Cormier. He goes by DC.
Mm-hmm.
They fought years ago. And he was talking like he didn't like DC. Right? And they were fighting for DC's belt. And one reporter said, why do you not like DC? What do you have against him? And Daryl Cormier said, yeah, what do you have against me? Cormier was like, Daniel was like, what do you have against me? What'd I do? And he looked at him, he looked down, he said, years ago in a commercial, he was disrespectful to that Popeye's chicken. Derrick Lewis, dude. And it was just, and they showed a clip where he is in Daniel Cormier's dancing with chicken, whatever. And he is just a funny dude. Derrick Lewis is a funny dude. And here's the thing. There's a lot of people that don't like jiu-jitsu. And you can see a jiu-jitsu match, you see two dudes on the ground run around, and if you don't know what you're looking at, it could just look like two guys wrestling, two guys, you heard, oh, it's just two guys having sex, they look gay, just all those negative slurs, just negative connotations. But to me, that's a ballet. But if you're not into fighting, Derrick Lewis is somebody you'd want to watch because win or lose, he's going to throw heavy leather. Mm-hmm. So there's not going to be a whole lot of groundwork and trying to submit. There's not in like boring moves. You're not going to see that. You're going to see somebody get knocked out. And if he wins, it's going to be an entertaining press conference. You know what I mean? He's doing he moaned to people. I mean, literally showed his ass. Sometimes, guys will have on their shorts and then they'll have on biker shorts under. But their real shorts, they'll pull down, show their butt, but it's their biker shorts. No, not this clown. No. This Joker showed his entire black ass. Yeah, but it was a good fight though, man. I just think they stopped it a little soon.
Yeah, 35 seconds is pretty quick.
Yeah. And I like I said, they stopped there. Now I've seen fights where guys are out. They're not getting up.
Oh yeah.
But this wasn't that. This wasn't that. You know what I mean? So. And it's equivalent. You're in a bar. When a ref stops a fight early, and then you think it could have went on, and that's what I think it could have.
Oh, makes sense.
Really yeah.
All right. Well, let's flip it over to this boxing ring 3. We're going to talk about that big card that Turk put on in New York City at Louis Armstrong Stadium, where they normally have U.S. Open tennis. Let's talk about first the David Morrell Khataev fight. Now, this was ruled a split decision victory for David Morrell. One judge had a 95-94 for Khataev, another for Morrell, that same score. Here's the card I have a problem with, 96-93 for Morrell. That was a damn close fight. I could have stomached the draw, but I'll be honest with you, I had Khataev winning the fight 95-94. There were a couple swing rounds, but 96-93 for either fighter, I call bullshit on that. What are your thoughts on it, Chops?
Okay, yeah, I'm also 95-94, but before we get into the technical aspect of it, don't forget they're in New York. Yeah. They're in New York, and a large Puerto Rican, you know what I mean? So a lot of that might have been home cooking for Morrell, number one. Number two, Khataev started gassing a little bit in the later rounds. In that lead, and it's tricky because when you watch a fight, in MMA, it doesn't matter. I stole the round. He steals the round. A lot of times it doesn't matter what you do in the beginning of a round. You can steal the round, and that's only 3 minutes. You can steal the round in the last minute or so with a nice flurry. So there's a lot of people that forget about what happened in the earlier rounds or some of those early rounds that should have went to Khataev. They gave to Morrell. Now, Khataev is definitely gassing in the end, and he's definitely losing rounds.
Yeah.
Khataev, to me, man, he doesn't look like a boxer. He looks like one of those CrossFit guys who are just, just mashed. Because they're normally when you're a boxer, you might be ripped, you might be cut, but you're a little leaner. But Khataev, man, geez, Lou, he just looks like he's just a mass of muscle. He just is. And I thought about that, man, early on, and I didn't text you, and I should have. Because I couldn't get him on. I could not get my DAZN was acting up, so I couldn't get him. So when I'm watching him a day or two later, I wanted to text you, man. But it wouldn't have made the same then because I already knew what happened. But if we'd have been in live, I'd have been like, man, Khataev is sort of worried me because he was busy early. Those muscles need oxygen. Those muscles need oxygen. You know what I mean? So I worried about that. Here's what got me with the 96, 93 cards. So you're telling me a fight that close regardless, and Morrell gets knocked down and still gets a 3-point victory? How? Get me there.
So basically what that judge is saying, that of the 10 rounds, he basically gave Morrell 7 of them.
Yes. Are you kidding me?
There's no now here's the thing. I gave Morrell 3 of the last 4, including the last 2. And I still had Khataev winning it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I thought Morrell was winning the 5th round. And then he started clowning. And that's why I texted you and I said, this guy's got to be the dumbest asshole on the planet.
Yes.
He starts clowning, and then he got knocked on his ass. And then he lost the 6th round, too, in my opinion. So at that point, I got a 4-2 Khataev.
Yeah. But see, times are different now. Because you remember about the most clowning you used to see. Okay, Ali would shuffle, but Ali wasn't clowning. That was just him showing he's light on his feet.
Yeah.
Your boy Sugar Ray might have done the bolo punch. right? Where he swings and whatever, trying to get you. But you didn't see guys. I'm trying to think. And if you can think of some guys that used to clown back in the day, by all means, get me there. But I don't remember them.
I mean, Leonard would be considered that. But obviously, when the chips were down, Leonard was going to fight.
Yes.
And that's,
you know what I'm saying? But, and he could do that. But you knew Leonard in there for some wars, whether it's against Duran, whether how he fought Tommy Hearn. You know what I'm saying? You remember him less for the showboating. But again, it's a different time. But to me, I just didn't get that. But yes, I had Khataev winning too. I'm not willing. If you'd have just told me Morrell won by the slimmest of margins, I don't agree with it, but I get it. That's why we have 3 judges. One sees this, I get that.
Yep.
96-93, I'm not feeling, number one. But Khataev, you have to realize you're in his backyard. You're in his backyard. So you have to remove all doubt, right? But again, even if you had said Khataev wins unanimous, Morrell wins unanimous decision 95-94. Okay, I understand that. They all had 95-94. Maybe early on there was a round or two we're switching here there. I gave it to Khataev. You gave it to Morrell. It's at home cooking. He was a bigger name. He was a more well-known, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can disagree, but I see that. 96-93, I don't get. I just don't get. I don't get. Now, you said it. Oh, he got robbed. He got robbed. I wish I'd have saw it live because knowing what happened, my mind wasn't the same as yours because I knew the ending. And I saw some other people use that word rob. They robbed that man. They robbed that man. You know what I mean? But it was hard for me to feel that. Yes, I feel he, as in Khataev, got the win, but I didn't feel the same anger as you did and some other people because I don't think I saw it live. If I'd have seen it live in real time, I'd have probably felt the same way.
Khataev was putting a lot of heat on him for the first 6 rounds.
Yes.
He started getting gassed in the 7th, and that's when I gave Morrell 3 of the last 4. 7, 9, and 10 I gave to Morrell. I did give the 8 to Khataev. Like I said, 95-94 I could understand. I wouldn't like it for Morrell. A draw I could get, I had it for Khataev, but like I said, I call it robbery because it's like, okay.
96, yeah.
I get flashbacks to Adelaide Bird, given, Canelo 118, 110 over a Triple G. First fight. Like, get that out of here.
And you know what? If you had told me what, and to be honest with you, and I wasn't again, because when you told me the robbery, you was telling me robbery, but at that time you hadn't went with the score. You hadn't told me the score. So I was like, you're saying he got robbed, but I can see somebody giving Morrell the benefit of doubt. But then once I put the score in, I got it. I got you.
And to me, it's like, I don't have some. I mean, we picked Morrell to win the fight, but to me, if you're gonna do that, why don't you just have 2 judges and automatically give the fight to one guy? He's like, okay, he's already got the card here, so you got both these cards because we're just gonna give this to him.
But now, don't forget, we also said Khataev could be a problem. We also said Khataev would be a problem, and we were dead right on that. We were dead right on that one too. Yeah. So, and I'll be honest with you, man, is we'll get in all of them. I don't know who needs to start listening to us, but we're right on a whole hell of a lot more than we're wrong with these. And I'm not even talking about the winner. I'm talking about how these fights break down. You know what I mean? The way I'm pretty, not to toot our own horn, beat, but we're pretty good at this shit. You know what I mean? Being honest with you.
Yeah, so definitely, man. Thanks for watching. Everybody definitely subscribe, like the videos, man.
Definitely like and subscribe. Definitely like and subscribe.
We want to hear from you. Let's talk about the next fight. This was a great card, by the way. I mean, this very, very good.
And we said it. It wouldn't be full of big names, but as card for card, action for action, this could hold its own against any card we've seen. We said that going in, and I'll be damned if it didn't hold true. I'll be damned if it didn't hold true.
So we got another interesting fight here. This was a really good fight. So close fight. Matias did beat Puello, majority decision, and now he's the new junior welterweight champion, WBC junior welterweight champion. But look at those cards.
I know.
A draw, and 2 of them had it for Matias. I can understand that. Now, I'll be honest with you, I gave it to Puello. And I had it 115, 113. However, I also had, there were 5 rounds I called out of 12, I called swing rounds. And I gave 2 of them to Puello. So I'm like, okay, if those 2 went to Matias, my card's 115, 113 Matias. So I'm like, I get it. It was a close fight. I gave Puello the benefit of the doubt in some of those rounds. I kind of switched it back and forth. I mean, it was a very close fight. So, well learned by Matias, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Well, you're absolutely right. It was a super duper close fight. And see, that's the thing. When you have those close swing rounds, you never know. And it's tomato, who gets it, you know what I mean? Whatever have you. But again, let's not forget, New York, that is a huge Puerto Rican crowd there, man. That is a huge Puerto Rican crowd, though. So we're not in the venue. So some of those shots, some of those blows, they have to me have some sort of nudging on the judges. You know what I mean?
Totally, you're human.
But they were with who they thought they were, who we thought they were. Matias was going to come, throw heavy leather, stand in front of you, be easy to see. But Puello did some things where he was able to stick it, like he was able to move and he was able to get some distance and counter and pick his shots. He didn't do it enough. And again, heavy crowd for Matias, some of those cheers when they whatever have you. But again, see, here's my issue. And again, I'm old school. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ, right? Yes. And then a lot of times to me like this, and I know this makes no sense, but I'm an old guy. Just let me go with this. On cards like this, if you'd have just said, and still, don't even read the scores. Because to me, when you go with the scores, yes, you went with Matias. But Matias didn't beat the champ. Because I'm telling you, if you polled 10 people on any given day, 5 might say Matias, 5 might say Puello on Monday. 6 Puello, 4 Matias. You have, because it was that razor thin.
It was.
And I'm just that old school cat. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And he didn't beat him. You know what I mean? So that's why to me, and I know it makes no sense. You're like, Chops, well, why are we keeping score? Keep score for your own whatever. And if you can post them after, well, if these have been 2, I don't want to say 2 nobodies, but if they're not fighting for the belt, yeah, Drew outworked Chops. However, this is for the champ. This is for the belt. This is for all the glory. This is to say, Drew, you held your own and you did your thing. But what Chops had to do to get the belt, Chops, what Drew had to do to get the belt, you didn't take it from him. You didn't remove all doubt. You know what I mean? So that's to me where I was still feeling my man, Puello in that. But again, it was an entertaining fight. And I'll be honest with you. Like I said, Matias is who we thought he was. Puello shocked me. He took some shots I wasn't sure he was going to take.
I agree. I thought if Matias was going to win it, he was going to have to win it early, and start a little earlier. And again, he kind of threw away the first round and a half. He started quicker than we thought, and I think that's what helped him. The first round, you could see what he was doing. He was pressuring but not throwing.
I know.
He wanted to see what's Puello going to do when I'm here. What's he going to do? What's his first thing? I really think he was trying to be scientific about it. Is he going to try to go low on me first and drop my guard and then try to hit me in the head? What's he doing? And trying to get like a strategy. And then he start throwing. And then as the fight went on, he started throwing even more. And pretty soon it was just not a big
It was a great fight. Here's the only problem I have with his game plan is your team watches tape. They know you compute data, you start a little slower. So here's what we're going to do. If that's your plan where you want to get in to try to take and compute the data, I get it. But when you're in that close, you got to at least throw to the body. At least cover up and throw something to the body. You don't know, you might hit him with a shot, but you can't get when you're on the road. When I say you're on the road, because you were in a time that was high for Matias, right? The crowd, pro Matias crowd. And it's an even fight regardless. You can't afford to give away anything. You can't afford, and not so blatantly. When I say so blatantly, he wasn't throwing punches. He was not throwing punches when he was in close. Now, when he opened up, it made it real good and real interesting. So just think about it. He had a draw on the one card, right? And the other ones were split. Just imagine if you throw that first round and a half, first 2 rounds, you might win that round or 2 on 1 or 2 of both those cards. And if you don't know where the difference you just don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. You just don't know. I don't understand why fighters do that. And I get how fighters say they are, basically they're known for being a slow starter. I get that. Mm-hmm. But you can't be so blatant as to give it away. One that always sticks out to me is Lomo. Lomo, the way he gave away rounds again, against who's our boy, Tio.
Oh, yeah.
He gave away those rounds. I just never understood that, because at this level, in as much film as you've watched, unless a guy switches it up to the point where he's normally an orthodox and he comes southpaw, there shouldn't be too much that you haven't trained for and or seen in the film you've watched of your opponent that takes you 4 or 5 rounds to compute. 1 or 2, maybe, but even if your full offense isn't on display for that first round, 2, maybe even 3, you've got to throw something. You have to throw something.
I had the fight dead even through 8, and I thought Puello took 3 of the last 4. That's how I had it, to be honest with you. Because
I don't even have my scorecard, but I had it. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I can't even. Full disclosure, I was keeping score, but I was so into the round. After each round, for that minute. Sometime I was listening what their corner was saying, or sometime I'd rewind and let me watch a few. Oh, I like that. So there was times it's 6th or 7th round, and I look at my card. And I didn't even write down who won round 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Because I was into it. So, but I do remember thinking, I like Puello what he did there. But I know. If it's just 2 regular guys on the come up, I'm not upset. No, I'm not upset with the call either way. Yeah. But I get that. But I just don't think he beat the champ. Did enough to take his belt.
The one thing I will say, the announce team, they said, if you were favoring aggressiveness and put pressure, that's why Matias would have won that fight on the cards. And that's a great segue into our next fight, because we're going to talk about the Shakur, Stevenson, Williams Zepeda fight. Unanimous decision for Shakur. Now, it was a lot better. If you look at those scorecards, you think, what was this, Terry Norris, Sugar Ray Leonard? No, It absolutely was not. And here's the thing. I had Stevenson winning the fight too, 116-112. Those cards are bullshit. To me, it tells me that Williams Zepeda, you weren't getting the decision in this fight unless you absolutely
knocked him out.
Knocked him out.
Then it
comes to the cards, you weren't getting it.
And here's the thing. We talked about this. Mm-hmm. He, as in Shakur, was not going to be able to run. He was not going to be able to do a Devin Haney, what he did against Rodriguez. He was going to Ramirez. He was going to have to fight. And he did. So you got to give him the props on that. You have to give him the props on that. But this is also what we said, that his toolbox was significantly better than Zepeda's. Zepeda's always easy to hit. He's always easy to find. It went down the way we said it was going to, and we knew it was going to happen, right? So what we learned from this is Shakur can get in there and bang when he has to. I tell you this, I'm putting this on wax. I don't think Shakur is going to make a habit of letting guys get to him. Like, there are certain guys that, like Sugar Ray, as we talked about him, so let's say with Sugar Ray. Mm-hmm. Sugar Ray had nice feet, right? Oh, yeah. Sugar Ray had whatever. Mayweather, you're a bigger Mayweather fan than I am. I was a huge when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, but you're a bigger fan. But you never accuse those guys of running. Never accuse those guys of running. They might not. They use the sweet science. Mayweather maybe didn't take a lot of punishment, whatever have you. Even if and Sugar Ray might have been cute, might have been pretty with his style, but he'd get in there and bang if he had to. Shakur is using every bit of that ring. And you know what I mean? So here's the question. Now he has to fight better guys than Zepeda, guys that are going to bring it back, guys with better defense, guys with better offense, guys with more movement, guys that come with angles. Because let's not forget, you can go back and rewatch it if you want. I don't recall too many times where Zepeda had different angles or he was trying to cut the ring off. It wasn't the way he was cutting the ring off. He might have been walking towards him, but if your boy Shakur wanted to get out of there, he got out of there. You know what I mean? Now, what impressed me, I will give Shakur this. I thought he got rocked in the third. But he survived it. You know what I mean? He survived it. So here's what I don't get. I don't know if you happen to see this, that Shakur is now like I think it was 1 number one pound for pounder. He ranked. He moved up at 130. He moved up in the rankings at 130, 135, whatever it is. And a lot of people have issues with that, as I do, because to me, Zepeda is not the competition that can move you from 2-1, from 3-1. Because to me, he's not that guy. To me, Zepeda is just not that guy because his skill set isn't there. Let me see if I can hold on, man.
Right as of right now on Box Live, Stevenson's number 2, Zepeda
number 1 lightweight rank. They got him number 1 lightweight rank
over Tank.
Yeah.
No, yes. The Box Ring Magazine has Tank 1, Stevenson 2, Zepeda 3 is still. Here's the thing.
Then you know what? I'm reading this on Boxing News, and if right now Shakur Stevenson is vaulted to number 1 in the ring rankings. But, however, this was written yesterday.
Oh, probably after the arrest. So maybe that's why they dropped it down.
But if you're looking at Tank, they might have gotten flack for it and realized, you know what? How can we put it? Maybe the people were listening to people, you know what I mean? So just like when they put in Jake Paul's ranking and people were like, are you crazy? So they rescinded that, you know what I mean? Or thinking about that. So maybe that's it. But it was an interesting fight. I think Tank showed I think Shakur showed a lot to us because he truly felt he knew what he could do. He truly knew and he felt what he could do. I do want to say this though. I would be interested to see if he takes a shot like that and gets stumbled and gets rocked again, if another fighter has the accuracy, the tools to show angles to where he might be able to jump on that and capitalize. Because your boy Zepeda is just throwing heavy blows. Once you're rocked and you're not moving like he was against the ropes, he can just cover up and get his bearings. Yeah. But against some other guys, you may not be able to do that. You know what I mean? But this all we can go on is his last performance. He, as in Shakur, did what he was supposed to do. He won it. And whether you say it was a spectacular fashion or not, he was a clear-cut winner. His skill set was just too good. But like you said, Zepeda was going to force him to be either prove himself or realize this ain't for you. And he proved himself. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, Shakur impressed the hell out of me because Zepeda throws punches and he threw a ton. I think Zepeda missed an incredible amount of punches in that fight.
Yes.
I don't want to misspeak, but I heard something like almost 700 that he missed.
It was crazy.
I mean, Shakur Stevenson put on a defensive clinic against the ropes. Now that, even Tyson came out on social media and said that he didn't like him there, and nobody did. In Lamp, they kept calling, and more like, why is he on the ropes? Because that's where he was getting not in trouble, but certainly he was putting himself in harm's way because Zepeda's throwing, he's coming forward. But Shakur showed me, man, I mean, he threw very quick combinations in a phone booth, like straight, jab cross combo, and he was throwing with some purpose. And he backed off Zepeda, especially near the end. He started backing him off. And as the fight went on, Shakur seemed to get stronger, and Zepeda, with all that punch volume, started withering a bit, and he started really pushing him back. He never hurt Zepeda, but he kept pounding him. He was scoring. I had Stevenson winning 6 of the last 7 rounds.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking at it right now in the CompuBox. Zepeda threw 979 shots. And he landed 272. So, yes, he missed 700 shots. He missed 700 shots. But that just goes to show you that.
Yeah. Huh? Those weren't long bombs either. That wasn't a phone.
No. But here's the thing. When you're throwing, and I hate to say reckless abandon, but when you're not pinpointing, when you're not taking the time to set up, that's just trying to over bombard your opponent. But when your opponent has great defense, you got to do some things a little different sometimes. And Zepeda didn't do that. He is who we thought he was. You know what I mean? And now Zepeda landed 120 jabs where your boy Stevenson only landed 96. But he, as in Stevenson, let's put it this way. Stevenson landed 295 and threw 565.
Economic.
So that's over 50%, over 52%.
Very
because Zepeda doesn't move. He's never hard to find. He's never hard to find.
Yeah.
So, and this was honestly, he's not a heavy puncher and a big knockout puncher, Zepeda, but he overwhelms you with so many punches, right? You're not worried about that one shot. You're worried about the accumulation. But Stevenson realized when you plant your feet, I'm going to make you pay. I'm going to score points. I'm going to get out. You can walk me into the ropes. You can't walk me and put me in the corner a whole lot. And you as in Zepeda don't have the skill set to cut the ring off to force me to back up. He did, you know what I mean? So Shakur's skill set was on display. And what happened is what should have happened, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We thought he'd win. I didn't think it would be, like I said, I didn't see it as lopsided. I mean, 116, 112 is pretty solid victory. It's 8 rounds of 4. I mean, so
yeah.
But to only give Zepeda 2, or 1 round, no. So
you're telling me the only round he won was the 3rd, where he almost knocked him out, knocked him down?
I'm buying it.
I know.
I gave him 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah,
I had it 3-2 at that point after 5 rounds, and then after that, it was the Stevenson show.
Yeah, he just was putting, and he wasn't hurting Zepeda, just showing there's levels to this, And
I was impressed by that because at least he backed up. I was telling my boss, I said, it was nice that after the last couple of years of hearing all these fighters talk all this shit on social media, one of them actually backed it up.
Yeah.
Guys, the guy that everyone, including Tank, said now his name's not big enough. Well, I think it's pretty big now. He just beat the 3-0 champion.
But you know what? And you got to give. It's not that I liked it, but you do have to give Stevenson credit because he never went into the lion's den. Even though he was sticking him, he was moving, getting out of there. He was not staying too long to exchange. He wasn't staying in the pocket a lot longer. Even when Zepeda was gassing, he, as in Stevenson, always let him know, this guy still has power. I cannot stay here too long. So I give him that. He got in, scored his points, and got out. Yeah,
so, I mean, great fight overall. I mean, it wasn't as good as the last 2 we talked about.
No.
But what do you think's next for Stevenson now? Because people can't say he can't. Okay, he's running. No, he didn't run against Zepeda, and he beat him. Where's he going now? Because I think he's going to have to get a good fight coming up.
I know, but that's the thing. Who and how long does he take off? Because he's never taken this sort of punishment, you know. And so it's interesting to see how long he takes. And to be honest, depending on what goes on with Gervonta, would he, as in Shakur, be willing to fight the winner of Gervonta and Roach?
I would think he would, but from what I'm hearing, at least from Lamont Roach's camp, is that August 16th fight ain't going to happen now.
He's backing out?
Well, they're saying there's doubts now because, with the arrest and everything. So we'll see. But that's what it's sounding like. Officially announced.
Well, then that's perfect. How much? Well, when was Tank and Roach scheduled for?
August 16th, I believe.
No, that's not enough time. That's
a month away.
Yeah, that's not enough time. And I don't think Shakur would fight, even if you offered him the Frank Roach. I don't think he'd fight in December. I don't think he'll fight again. You think? I don't think Stevenson would do it. I don't think he'd take on Roach even in December.
Earliest it would have to be either December or next year. I mean, obviously, because any earlier than that, no way.
I don't see Stevenson doing it. I don't. Even though he took shots, nobody's going to call this a war with him and Zepeda. Nobody's going to call it brutal. I just don't see Stevenson coming back and fighting again this year. I don't. Maybe he shots, but I don't. I don't even think he'd do it against Roach.
But I think, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tank and Roach. If it happened, I don't think they're going to fight on the 16th of August, I'll be honest with you. And if they fight later in the year, maybe he does take the winner. I'd like to see that. I think he's earned it. So,
without question.
We'll see. Now, this fight, those are co-main events. Co-main event, the last fight, Hamzah Sheeraz defeats Edgar Berlanga via TKO in the 5th round. And Chops, this was a thing of beauty because Edgar was running that mouth for a long time, and he didn't a whole lot after that. But I'm twitching on the ground.
And here's the thing. I get talking smack. I get that. I don't understand why some guys have so much bravado and go overboard. There's no need for that because when fists are flying, anything can happen. Okay. Now, I went with Sheeraz. Remember, this is just one we said, I just went with Sheeraz because you were going with Berlanga, but I first started to go with Berlanga.
Yeah.
Now,
well, we knew Sheeraz be a problem.
Yes. And remember, we said he got a draw against Adames, or how we pronounce his name, but we wanted to see what he learned. I went back and watched a lot of that fight.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I noticed flat out, that he did against Berlanga that he didn't do against Adames, where he truly learned, because we said, will he take that loss or draw as a learning experience?
Yeah.
When he was fighting against Adames, he would crouch, he would let Adames close the distance, and he was just turtling up, not throwing punches.
Said that, yep.
He did not turtle up against Berlanga, and when he did, when Berlanga closed that distance, whether he hit or not, because there were some punches, of course, he was missing, but he was at least throwing. He was throwing to Berlanga. And the crazy part to me, which I think came with confidence against fighting and what he learned against Adames, because he was throwing those hooks nice. Some of them were missing, but he was catching Berlanga too, but he was throwing those hooks and he was throwing punches with bad intentions. He was being committed to it. And man, I didn't have it going that way. No. But I only took Sheeraz because to go opposite of you, but we both had Berlanga, just being honest with you. But that wasn't even close.
No.
He put it on him. And the one knockout, the first one, was a beautiful combination to where Berlanga was falling and he missed the left hook, but he was throwing it just because that's his combination. But it was phenomenal, man. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And to me, Berlanga showed his youth and inexperience, because when he got knocked down, as you noticed, when Tyson Fury got knocked down against Wilder, he took a good 3 to 4, 5 seconds of laying on the canvas to collect his wits.
Yep.
Your boy didn't do that.
No.
Berlanga got up instantaneously. And it feels different. Laying down to getting up. Yes. And I think not saying that it would have ended any differently. I don't know that it would have. But when you saw Tyson Fury take that time, and we've even seen some other educational fighters, Tank did it. They didn't charge him, but he should have. Yeah. But they should have. When he took that knee against Roach, you've seen fighters just take a knee. Let me get a second. Let me get a count, 8 count. Let me get a second. He just got right back up. To me, that was the inexperience of never being there. You know what I mean? So we'll see. And we talked about Sheeraz. This was his first fight. Was it Andy Lee? I think is his trainer now.
Yeah, that was his first fight with Andy Lee.
Yes, and he looked different.
Yes.
He looked different.
He liked that jab, didn't he?
Yes.
That Kronk.
It was like a piston.
The Kronk jab. How ironic. The piston jab. How ironic.
Yeah. So I got to give it to Sheeraz, man. He took and some people even say it was called a draw officially, but some people thought he lost that. But he definitely watched film. His team, Andy Lee, they all did him a great service and got him ready for Berlanga, because that was impressive. I don't know if Berlanga wants to run it back. I don't know if they will run it back, but I believe we're going to see a new and improved, more confident Sheeraz moving forward regardless.
So that great segue. So what's next for him? What's next for Sheeraz? Do you think they'll run it back?
Well, he's already called. Let's put it this way. Not trying to be funny. If I'm Sheeraz, even if I'm only feeling myself talking big noise, because the only people that really believed in me was my team and my mama, right? If I'm Sheeraz, everybody else had Berlanga, right?
Yeah.
He could be the arrogant guy. Why do I want to fight Berlanga again? Why do I give you a rematch when I dominated you? You weren't even worried. I dominated you, bro. I dominated you. Okay. So having said that, but he could call out Canelo, because let's not forget, and he can say to Canelo, I knocked Berlanga out, knocked him down 3 times. He went the distance with you. The distance. I didn't even let him get to the 6 with me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's a fight that you could sell. That is definitely a fight that you could sell. So that to me, and he is in. Sheeraz is already calling out Canelo. And I can see why he's doing it. Here's the thing. What was this? His first or second fight at 160? No, it was
his first fight at super middleweight, I believe.
Yeah, 168. So now he's calling out Canelo, which I can understand because first off, strike while the iron's hot. And right now, after that oh man, that performance, impressive performance. Impressive.
Yes, it was.
Right now, you can negotiate for a little bit bigger pay, and more money would come into that, I believe, right? More money would come into that, number one. But also, if you risk taking another fight at 168, even if you win, if you don't look as spectacular or it's not a big name, you're losing money. You know what I'm saying? But let's not get it twisted, Drew. Canelo still got business to handle himself. He really does. You know what I mean? So he's still got business to handle.
Yeah, he's got Bud Crawford in 2 months, just about 2 days, pretty much, I think.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So but yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, Canelo's the king. Well, whoever wins that fight's king of the super middleweights. And
okay. So let me ask you this. I know he's up there, 38, as in Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
If he wins, doesn't matter if he wins in spectacular fashion, whatever. If he wins, or even if he's impressive, goes the distance, but gets the loss. If he has a great showing, do you think Bud stays at 168, or do you think he comes back to at least 154? Or do you think this is at his farewell and he's out?
Well, there you go. There's all kinds of scenarios. I'll put it this way. I think if he wins impressively, he stays for at least another fight. But you got to look at who are the names in each division. I think it's more about where the money's at. If he wins that fight, he's got all options around the table. He could even go back to middleweight if he wanted to at 160 and take on a bigger name if he wanted to for the money. 154, 160 are probably where the bigger names are.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah. Because I don't think if he beats Canelo, I don't think a Crawford Sheeraz fight brings that. I'd like to see it because you've got Sheeraz coming forward and you've got your boy's defense, and what does he do, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if that brings in a big pay. I don't know.
So now let's talk about Edgar Berlanga for a minute here. So his last 3 fights have been against some pretty big names, and he lost them both. And Sheeraz knocked him on his ass 3 times. He would have destroyed him if they allowed him to.
Yeah.
So we've seen Edgar Berlanga win 16 fights in a row with first round KOs. And then we've seen what we saw against Sheeraz, which I'll be honest with you, against Canelo, I thought he fought well. He's just against a better fighter. And Canelo's a great Hall of Famer. I mean, I get it. But I saw a different Edgar Berlanga in this fight. And I think he didn't know how to handle the height and reach. He was hesitant and he wasn't as aggressive. And I think it cost him.
Well, remember, we said he didn't learn much in his fight after Canelo, because remember he had one fight we get a first round knockout against Fernando. I can't remember the guy's name, but he had a first round knockout. Yep. He didn't learn much. But again, when he just tried to walk in on Sheeraz, it's almost like he didn't respect his jab. He didn't respect his reach. So yes, you're 16-0, 15 at the time before you lose Canelo, 15-16-0, 15-16 by knockout, whatever it was. You can't knock everybody out. Just like, we love football. You can't run over everybody in the NFL. You have to run around people. You know what I'm saying? You have to have, as I know I use it a lot to beat the word, you have to have a toolbox. You have to.
Yep.
And I don't know where he goes, because if you want to step up, guys are going to show you different looks. Guys are going to have angles. Guys are going to have different skill sets. Nobody's just going to stand in front of you and bang like that. So I don't know where he goes, man. I really, really don't. And I don't think he can go down in weight.
No.
I don't know. I don't think he can go down.
I think he's in a sweet spot. He's got great power, and he's at a weight where he likely overpowers. Well, he is overpowering 90% of his opponents. So, I mean,
because he is big. He is big at 168. But didn't he look small against Sheeraz? To me, he looked small.
Sheeraz is 6'3". I mean, it is what
thick.
Yeah. And if Berlanga goes to 175, yeah, he'll hold the weight. But those guys at that weight typically are walking around at 200.
Yes, and they have a jab. They've got more weight. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know where he goes from here. But I think his team has to truly, truly be there for him, because you can't there was no game plan for Sheeraz. He talked a lot of mess, went again, talking trash against, the Golden Boy. Yes. And just come out and did that. There was no game. I don't even know what the game plan was, but from jump, Sheeraz was more than holding his own.
You're just trying to intimidate.
Yeah.
But like I said, I thought it was ironic that in the actual fight, he didn't fight like he talked. He seemed he came forward, but it was almost like, hit me. And it's like,
I know.
And he did.
Yes. It was like, but when you were fighting guys of lesser talent, because no disrespect, he didn't fight Sheeraz any different than he fought Canelo, standing in front of him, banging, whatever have you. We didn't see him working in behind the double jabs. We didn't see him jabbing, cutting that. We didn't see any of that. That's not who Berlanga is. That's not who Berlanga is. So we'll see, man. I'm interested. I'm really interested to see where he goes from here.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I mean, I think, like I said, if you put him against a lesser opponent, he's going to mop him up. He'll look good. He'll look good doing it, and then he'll get another shot. He's going to get another shot at somebody. Maybe it's a guy like Billy. I don't know. Maybe it's something like that.
Now hold on. That will be because they both like to stand in front of you in exchange. But now, dude, after getting knocked out the way that he did, and then Billy has some speed and heavy hands. I want to see how Berlanga would handle that mentally back into the ring.
I don't think he'd do well against Billy at all. Not with that game plan.
No, because remember, one of the things he hung his hat on was, and he said, if you could run a truck through my chin, I've never been knocked out. You've never been knocked out until you have been. How do you react?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Stay humble. And I was just like, when did that start?
I know.
Humble? Okay.
I don't know, brother. I don't know.
I think the guy's an exciting fighter. I'm not a fan of him personally, but I think he's an exciting fighter. And I was pleasantly surprised he was humbled in this fight. Now like you said, let's see how he reacts. And I want to see him react well, because I think he can put asses in seats and he can put money.
Without question. Without question. I don't know when he'll be the headliner again. You know what I mean? It depends who it is, because if he's got somebody with a skill set, and I understand Canelo's top of the heat, but he was the decisive loser against Canelo.
Oh, yeah.
Then he comes against, but maybe this is what he needed to get his ass on track and truly, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I don't know where he goes from here, but I'm interested to see where he goes. And you're right. I definitely want to see him fight again.
I mean, I'm looking at the top, at least according to Ring, the top 10 plus, Canelo's their champion, but in Billy's number one. I mean,
So read me off the top three real quick, if you can.
Okay. So Canelo's champ, and Billy's number one, Pacheco's number two, Iglesias is number three.
Pacheco throws heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what do? I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
And Resendez and Munguia are the top five. That rounds out the top five. Those are all heavy hitters. And then after that, I like his chances. Caleb Plant, Shull, Sheeraz. I mean, I like his chances.
Yeah. Sheeraz, Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant would probably be interesting for him, because Caleb Plant's not going to stand in front of you until it's later in the round, till he's beat on you a little bit. Tenderize you up a bit, gives you different angles. That would be interesting. That would be real interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a fun fight, to be honest.
But I tell you this, though. He has to add to his repertoire. He has to. He's got to work in that double jab. He's got to work other punches. He's got to learn angles. He's got to learn better foot. He has to. You can't bully everyone. You can't.
Ironically, I think he should. Honestly, he needs a guy like Andy Lee.
Woo!
I mean,
without question.
Because the skills are there. I mean, Berlanga's power and his hand speed are very impressive.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's got to make adjustments. And
yes, absolutely. And that's where your team your team can't fail you. They need to be there.
Hey, real quick before we wrap up those chops, let's talk about the trilogy. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. They fought a 10-round fight again. Unanimous decision to Taylor. She ends up getting the sweep of the series, but they were all very, very close fights. Your thoughts on this one?
She just has her number.
Yeah.
She just has her number. After 30 rounds, all we know is Katie has won all 3. She's the better boxer. And she just has Serrano's number. That's it. Neither one is beat up. Neither one has had either one in trouble. Neither one punished the other one. Katie just outpointed her. She just has her number. That is a riddle that Serrano can't fix. She can't. She just can't solve it. That's all I can say about it.
It happens, right? I mean, like you said, like you talk about the 4 kings. I mean, Hearns knocked Duran out in 2 rounds.
Yes.
But, he took Kagler and Leonard the distance.
Yes.
Leonard once. So it is what it is. It's like
styles make fights. Styles make fights. And I understand nobody's going to look at that and they're not going to. That trilogy is nowhere Mickey Ward. It's not, it's not the Mickey and it's not the Ward Gotti fight. No, it's not Ward Gotti. It's not a lot of these other trilogies. But it was good. It was entertaining. She just has Serrano's number. She just has Serrano's number. That's all I can tell you. That's the best I can tell you.
All right, we're gonna wrap this one up, man. Great weekend of fights. Check us out. Coming up, we're gonna be previewing the July 19th weekend fights. Oh my goodness, there's some fights coming up. Almost too much to handle in one show, but we're gonna do it.
I know.
Hey, thanks again, everybody, for subscribing. Don't forget to hit that like button on the videos. Don't forget to comment on the videos. If you agree or disagree, we want to hear about it.
Absolutely.
We're always looking to hear everyone's opinions. So he's Chops. I'm Drew. We're talking combat sports every week on Roku with the DAZN network at 10 p.m. every Friday night. So check us out there, and also check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and most of the social media posts. Chops, we're out of here.
All right now.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. You can find us on the DAZN network on the Roku app every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time beginning on October 4th, 2024. Check us out on Twitter X. Our handle is @HeySubPod, capital H, capital S, capital P. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode. Just go to your web browser and type in www.youtube.com/@Haymakers and Submissions podcast, as we will drop content weekly. Whether it's boxing, MMA, or wrestling that gets you fired up, you'll get all you need right here at the Haymakers and Submissions podcast.